I've taken more than 1,000 people through their first drone flight experience, and for some, it can be really, really nerve-wracking. But what I've realized is that it doesn't matter if you're young or maybe a little bit older, if you're using a teeny tiny drone or something quite large, some of the basic principles are all the same. And it's really, really easy if we start to scaffold it and just work at it step by step rather than just jumping all the way in, taking off and going. So here's what I like to do when I teach people how to fly. The first thing is you want to make sure that the drone is facing away from you. And so it's oriented in the same way that you are. So when you want it to move forward, it thinks forward is the same way that you think forward is, for example. So the next trick is when you first start flying is just use your right thumb. Again, doesn't matter if you're on a tablet or with a remote controller with sticks, using your right thumb is going to keep the drone facing in the same direction that you are. So here's the way we go. If we use our right thumb and we push it forward, the drone is going to move forward. We pull the right thumb back, the drone comes back towards us. If we move the right thumb to the right-hand side, the drone rolls to the right. If we move the right thumb to the left, the drone rolls to the left, but its orientation stays exactly the same. So for your very first flight, all I recommend doing is just getting used to what your right thumb does. Forward, back, left, and right. And then once you've gotten a little bit of confidence with that, try flying out of box so you can move forward, to the right, back, and to the left, and then go in the opposite direction. Now what you can do to then continue to build that skill is to work in a figure of 8, but still just use the right thumb and keeping that orientation of the drone the same. Now when you're really, really comfortable flying with your right thumb, then I recommend progressing on to lefty. Because lefty is the one that controls, first of all, the altitude of your drone. So being able to increase its height by pressing left thumb forward. By pulling left thumb back towards you, that's going to decrease the altitude of the aircraft. Now you just need to be careful with this to make sure that the drone doesn't come too close to the ground unless you're ready to land it, because then it starts to get into its own prop wash, and that can be a really unstable place for the aircraft to be. Now the other thing that lefty does is if you push lefty to the left, the drone yaws to the left or turns. And if we push it to the right, it yaws to the right, or again, turns to the right. So this is where that orientation change happens. So what happens is as you start to rotate around clockwise or anti-clockwise, then that's going to change your perception of what right thumb is going to do. So my recommendation for once you're used to using your right thumb is then to start with lefty and just get a feel for what happens as you push the control up, back, left and right with that rotation and the increase and decrease in altitude. And then return to the exercise that we did with our right thumb. So think about flying out that square where you go forward with your right thumb, but then this time turn right or your right with your left thumb. So you're going to turn 90 degrees, go forward and then yaw again. And then by that time, after you've done your second 90-degree yaw, the front of the drone is going to be facing towards you. So when you push your right thumb forward, the drone is going to go forward with reference to itself, but that means it's actually going to come closer to you, so appear like it's coming backward. And so that's where it gets a little confusing. Now, any stage with any of the drones that have the sensors that are able to hover, so this is not the racing drones, but any of the mapping drones, for example, or if you're flying with the Tello or the Mambo, Mavic, Phantom, all these ones, if you feel uncomfortable, all you need to remember is to take your thumbs off the sticks and the drone is going to hover perfectly in place while you figure out where you are in space and then gain the confidence to start again. So don't just try to keep pressing to see where it goes. Just take off, take a deep breath, recatch yourself, and then head on again for another fly. So good luck getting into flying, and I hope to see you out there soon.